Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Talk About Transformers. Today I'm going to tackle my first true masterpiece figure, and as I previously stated in my APC Toys Evil Voice video, if it's a masterpiece or something along those lines where I get a nice box, I'll keep the box. So with that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at his box. This figure never had a name on his box. Transform Element 01 was Op Leader. This one just says Metal Deformation, which is like a subline of some of these creators. I think some of my Black Mamba have that. Anyway, so you've got your Transform Element up here. Name, nice picture of Bumblebee. On top, Transform Element 02 Metal Deformation. On the side, it says Op Leader. I don't know if that's an advertisement or an oversight. On this side, ages 16 plus, QR code, things I can't read, die-cast metal transformation. And then the back is the same as the front, just cut where I opened it. And the bottom says, warning, made in China. Things I can't read. Got a little who that's sad. He's not included. Anyway, that's it for the box. So out of the box, you've got your B here. I'm just gonna in the title of the video, I believe I put in TE-02 Metal Deformation B as the title, just so that he has a name. So here's B in his robot mode. It doesn't look too bad considering what we got for an MPM. He's kind of pudgy. Some people actually like that he's a little stocky. I know one of my friends thinks that he's cute stocky. These are loose. They don't want to stay, so I'm just going to actually angle them down. So my friend Jasper, shout out to Jasper. Here's your cute Bumblebee review that you like. There he is from the front. There he is from the side. He cleans up pretty well. He's got the doors on his back, and they're not super accurate to the movie. From the back, you can see he's got car folded up here. It almost is kind of like the back of the Studio Series is the back of the shins of this figure, only done much nicer. The wings are here, the wheels are here. They're not the right shape, but they look good. And then this is passable armor detailing. Now the way the wings should look is more like this, the Transcraft Bumblebee. They're smaller and they're angled down, and these are just big old door chunks. But before I got this guy, I love this guy. I'm not trying to throw shade on the Transform Element. It was a really fun Bumblebee as far as playing with the robot mode. The transformation, I'm not looking forward to filming it. I've never transformed something this complex on camera, but we'll see how that goes. He's got his Autobot symbol here that I put on. It's crooked a little bit. I think, I can't tell if it's just my eye. I don't think it's centered right either way. And then move him in here to look at his face. Really nice head sculpt. I believe the eyes are painted blue. There's no light piping, so for them to show up like that, they've got to be painted. Lots of cool detail around his neck area, just showing that off. He's got the actual hood of the car as far as the headlights go here. The parts with the Autobot symbol and this venting and stuff are faux, but these are the actual headlights. Lots of molded detail here in the stomach, which is really nice molded detail there. You've got some on the inside of his thighs. His knees are used to be silver here, and the paint scratched off from transforming and things like that. It wasn't super durable. Nice little armor detail. I always liked his leg design in this iteration of the character. And you've got just loads of detail here. There's even some detail on the inside of these panels that snap together for vehicle mode, that doesn't even need to be there, it's just there. Bottom of the feet looks like he's got some grip, things like that. Outside of the leg, molded up, folded up car panel, but it's not too bad. And then he's got the bumper feet, kind of like the official Masterpiece has bumper feet. Coming up this side of his arms, painted detail on the hands. There's some painted detail here on the arms. I don't know if they're fully painted or not. There's painted detail on the front, silver on the inside of the arm. Lots of molded detail in here on the shoulder armor. You've got some detail in here where the shoulder meets the torso. Car bits. These panels are just here for the look, so they're not car pizzas or anything. All this is car stuff. You can actually take this and rotate it to the back. Just if you want to do that, you can set his arms down lower that way, but it doesn't bother me where it is. And one of them is loose, not this one, so I actually like to keep it plugged in like it would be in vehicle mode. There's the door wings. You can see he's got spine detail in there. It looks great. My doors, this hinge on both is loose, so the wheels like to fall down. You're gonna see that probably during the review, but you've got like inside door detailing here for the vehicle mode that you're never gonna see. That's really cool. Just lots of molded detail all over this guy. Now, as for accessories, because I don't want to forget this time, he comes with a new face, a battle mask. Got the little honeycomb look to the eyes. He's got 2 different swords. He's got this one, which I believe is the one that wasn't in the film, but I could be mistaken. This is the one that all the official ones come with. Mine has some, it almost looks like they painted it and then set it down and the paint dried, like to match the surface they set it down on, but that's okay. I actually prefer this blade. This one, I believe, it doesn't come with anything official Studio Series or the MPM, but it does come with this guy and Transcraft Bumblebee, and I think this one is the movie accurate one, but I can't remember. And then he comes with his little honey cannon. Nice details in there. Just line work down the side. You've got nice silver paint apps. Looks like some gunmetal there. You've got a tab for the forearm, a tab for the hand, and then when it's hooked to his arm, his thumb goes into this notch. This tab is cracked. I plugged it in too tight the last time I plugged it in, so when I plug it in during the review, I'm not going to plug it in super far, and I'm going to hope it doesn't break off. And in order to put this on, what we're going to do is we're going to take his arm so that we can get to his hand, open his hand up, and then, like I said, his thumb is going to go into this hole here, and this tab is going to go into this slot in the forearm. So hopefully this is going to come across there, and then the tab under here is going to slot into his hand. Oh, spoilers. So I'm just going to try and gently slot this in. It does not want to cooperate. Started with the hand. There we go. So let's start with the hand maybe. I don't want to push it in too far. I'm afraid that's going to snap off in this review. It'll hold on perfectly fine without tapping the hand in. And there we go. His wings fell apart in the back. I could probably toughen those up, but since I got the Transcraft, I just never bothered. So there he's got his gun. To implement his sword, you just take this tab on the sword and this slot on the figure and slot it together so you can have like a bayonet gun, and then we can just put this other sword on his other arm. Excuse me. And there he's all armed up, and in order to change his face, you just pull up on this hinge here and his scalp him, take his scalp off, put it off to the side, and then we put his new face on, and there he is all armed up. We'll slide him over and we'll get some size comparisons with him and take his extra scalp, and you just put it back in the box where the original one was. Anything you don't use, you just put it back in the box. Another thing that came with it are the instructions. I didn't use them. I'd watched enough videos on it when I got it that I didn't need these. So we'll go ahead and get started on some size comparisons. First, as always, standard Rubik's Cube. Then Gormagala. And finally, just since we already saw it, but still, there he is with Transcraft Bumblebee. We'll go ahead and take his equipment off him now. It's just going to be easier off camera. In order to get his honeycomb mask off, the best way is to just put your thumb under here and just pull up, and that'll dislodge the head, and then you can fold it up and take the mask off and give him his old scalp. Excuse me. I'm going to try and get this gun off without breaking that tab, and it came off in his hand. Oh well. Alrighty, I'm going to set him down and get ready for transformation. Oh, and I got slightly interrupted there. One thing I forgot to mention about his cannon is it does have a little white button, which you kind of saw earlier, but it does have an LED. It's a very bright LED, lights it up very nicely. Okay, then we're going to go ahead and cut the transformation. Alright everybody, I had to run a quick errand between filming. Then I started the transformation and realized that I was going to be doing it out of the order I wanted to. I haven't transformed this guy in a while. Originally I wasn't going to review him, but I'm planning on selling him actually on Mercari. So my wife Megan decided that it would be a good idea to review him while I could. So that's what I'm doing here. Lift up his arms just so that way they're out of the way. I'm going to transform his legs for the most part first. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually bend the foot, and we're going to flatten all of this out. On the MP you fold it in, but on this we're going to flatten all of this out. We're going to take this panel and we're just going to open it back a little bit, and we're going to gently slide on this pin this whole section, I believe. Oh no, we're not going to be able to do that yet. We got to actually rotate his foot forward so this section is out of the way of the slider. I actually believe I snapped one of these off and had to put it back on because I didn't rotate first. So pushing it down on the slider, there it is, it slid into place. This whole section here is going to rotate down, so that way this section that was on the inside of his leg is going to come around. The foot's already started pushing it. It's going to come around and it's going to sit on this side, just like that for now. Then we're going to take his toes, we're going to bend them forward, we're going to rotate his foot through, and this little part on his foot is going to just bend up for now, and then we're going to bend his toes the opposite direction until they can't bend anymore, and then this foot is just going to kind of rest inside his leg there for now. Now that all that's done, I'm going to go ahead and do it on the other leg. Hopefully it'll be a little smoother. Like I said, it's been a minute since I transformed him. So fold his foot open, pull this out, rotate his foot down so that this is out of the way of the sliding rail. Then we're going to take the rail and we're going to just push it so that way it is slid. We're going to rotate this panel from the inside of his leg to this other side of his leg after we move the tail light section out of the way. So we'll go ahead and we will pull it up and through, and on the other side you're going to want it oriented so that way these tabs are facing towards his hip sections, because all of this is going to line up together eventually. And then we're going to take his toes, we're going to bend them down, push the foot through, we're going to bend them back as far as they'll go, rest his foot, and then this little hinged panel that helped fill the foot out a little bit is just going to fold up. Now that we've got all of his leg components kind of set, this hinge here, this panel is on a hinge down in here, and it's got two resting points, the forward resting point where it is now, and the resting point it needs to be in for vehicle mode. So you just swivel it around until the panel rests in the right position, and there's a little tab in here, a little slot, and it's going to tab in. You don't have to worry about tabbing this piece in right now because you're going to have to untab it to get the tire in, but you can tab them together for now just to get everything sitting straight. So again, in this area there's a hinge and it's resting in robot mode. The hinge rests up against this, get it focused here, against this. So you're going to rotate it around and back until the little tab on the panel lines up down here and makes everything flush. We'll go ahead and snap this into place just to help keep everything together. And then what we can do is we can just start tabbing all this together. There's tabs, 1, 2, 3 tabs here, and then some tabs down in here. So just go ahead and sandwich everything together so that way his legs are nice and compact. They're all together there. Now that his legs are pretty much out of the way, let me see, do I want to try and get these side panels out right now? Yeah, we can go ahead and do that. So the side panels actually rub up against the silver paint here, I found. So I'll kind of I'll kind of rotate his legs back so that way you can just get in here and just pull this out without scraping, and then you can rotate his legs back down. Tire. Now where I started my original transformation, which I cut, we'll go ahead and work on his upper body. We'll open these panels I mentioned earlier, and then there's no real good way to get this out without a spudger, which I don't have, or a thumbnail, which I did have enough of a thumbnail. If you want to, you could use that, but I wouldn't recommend it because you might pull the part off. You want to get this open so that way you can move the arm down on this strut out of the shoulder, and then just leave it hang for the time being. And we're going to go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. Rotate this back. It already came untabbed for me on this side. Fold up, pull the arm out on the strut. We're going to come up under his back. It already did it for me. Let me tab it back in. His backpack is tabbed in under here. Big tab, little hole. And we're going to untab that so that way we can finish swinging the arms out of our way for now. And then we can go ahead and tab these side panels back in where they need to be. And when you're going back from vehicle mode into car mode, in order to pop these out, you can literally just go like that and they'll untab. Back here where the arms are, first go ahead and just rotate his head chest assembly forward. There's a hinge in here. The hinge right here, just push that out so that way under the backpack you can take your thumbs, put one on each tire, and just give them a push to make it easier to get them out, and we can fold the backpack back down a little bit, and then we can take each tire and it'll rotate out on a series of hinges until it's in place. And that's what it looks like from the other side. You don't really have to worry about doing it in any kind of order. It'll set itself in pretty good. And then you can take his head, push it in, and it'll sit in there for now. I'm going to do this whole front section at the end because you can have the entire car formed up without even worrying about doing the front section at the beginning. Tires and doors, they are not staying in place. I really wish there was like a tab that tabbed that in. That'd be nice, but they're just... Alright, so we're going to take his doors and we're going to straighten them out. It's on a double hinge, and what we're looking for right now is just to have them straightened out like this. So again, on this side, moving the tire out of the way, we're just going to straighten them out like that, and we're going to go ahead and fold his window out, and then to try and hopefully prevent the tires from falling, I'm going to fold them back for now. We're going to take his waist, and this panel that the side panels were on is actually going to fold down, but in order to do that we have to rotate his waist. So again, if we fold the legs, it'll help prevent rubbing, kind of, and then we can fold this panel down. And now that we have that down, there's a little groove for it in here. We can take his backpack panel and fold it out like we had it earlier. We can take his leg panel, shoot it through his arms, rotate his legs all the way back, and it'll rest. So his thighs are just kind of resting in his spine, so to speak. And then I'm going to go ahead and just open these up so that way I don't have a whole mess in here while I'm trying to explain this. This part here, getting these through this, is forcing things past things, or it can be. Well, that actually wasn't that bad. I'm not sure how I did that actually, because this popped open and I was able to bring this down, push this in, realign this, and then this is now on the outside. The arm is going to rotate in and plug in like it was in robot mode. This shoulder panel will actually shift down and rotate over that pin like so. Then we're going to have his arm, open the forearm panel and rotate all of this out, so that way it's stretched out like that. And we'll get all this back in here, and then this has to sit up behind this hinge. There's the flexing part, so you got to flex that back behind that hinge. And then for this back part here, his hand is going to rest back here. I've seen people do it where it's closed. I've seen people do it where it's open hand. Excuse me. I don't really think that it matters too much in the long run. This stuff is all going to end up being unpegged when I'm rotating the tire into place, but I wanted to hold it there for now so that way it's not in my way when I try and get this side done. Alrighty, I'm gonna go ahead and pop that down, rotate this in. Wonder if there's a more elegant way to do that. I doubt it. As far as the sliding things past things, we are going to shift the shoulder piece down, rotate the arm so that the shoulder piece is over that and the arm is lined up. We're going to go ahead and untab the panel from the forearm, straighten it out on those hinges, and then this is all going to rotate in, tab into place in here, just so we know that everything is going to be lined up properly, as long as the hinges don't collapse on me. We'll get this pushed in here, and we've kind of got start of a car shape. Now before we handle all this folded up mess up here, we're going to go ahead and get these windows into place. So what you're going to want to do is, we had them straightened out like this, you're going to want to bend it just on the silver hinge here. Straighten the tire out, and you can tuck it up under this like so. So you just slide it up under there, and this tab on the tire is going to peg into this slot on the leg under here. It'll just pop into place like so, and then get all the panels back together. And this tab on the door window is going to go in here, and this tab on the front of the door is going to flex behind here. Lots of bending and flexing. I don't really care for it. Then go ahead and make sure this is all tabbed together. And there's one side of a roofless bug. We'll go ahead and do the other side. So we've got our hinge here. We're bending at just the silver hinge, not the gunmetal hinge. We're going to rotate the hinge up now. With that bent like that, we can go ahead and flex this in. It doesn't matter if you flex it in before or after. We'll go ahead and get the wheel under, get this panel pulled out because it folded itself back in, and then we'll tab our wheel in and just get everything else lined up and put together here. That came undone. There, now we have two sides of a bug, just about. For these, just open up the panels to the roof. This is kind of like those old Dark of the Moon weapon ports where there's a spring-loaded filler piece. Make sure those are out, and then you're going to rock it up. Keep this in place. You're going to rock it up here on the hinge, revealing these panels. That'll fill in. When you're putting all of this together, there's two little sections under the roof that are going to go behind the windows. You want to make sure that's all in place. You want to make sure that the tabs back here are going to be in place. There's similar sections to the front window that'll go behind the back window. You want to make sure all of that is lined up before you snap this in. And just kind of massaging everything into place. There is it together pretty good. Now for the front, we're going to go ahead and pull these off. They're little tabs, keeping it in the chest. Or can I rotate that first? No, I definitely want to pull these off. They're going to come out sliding on this pin, and the pin will slide out with it sometimes because it's not in there too great. You could probably put a dab of super glue on that and prevent it from happening. But there it is, slid out on the pin. Slide the other one out on a pin. Excuse me. See, that one came out. The grooves are supposed to keep the pins from coming out, and it doesn't work that well. We'll take this chest panel and just get it out from behind those window sections and fold it down. Take this whole section, the two front windows, the actual front of the car, make sure that you have the clearance to do it, and then you just rotate those around on that fixture. Take the real roof of the car, pull it out, make sure the front bumper's out of your way, and just angle it up, get it into place with the front headlights flush. This panel came on tab, so now it is in the way. There we go. Thank you for coming out in the middle of transformation. There are little tabs above the wheel well, or the wheel in the wheel well. They're going to tab it. This one, you can see there's a little L-shaped feature on it. This one does not have it. I don't know if it ever had it or if it rubbed off the first time. This one's never come off, so you're just going to tab the bumper together and push these panels onto those tabs. This side's not going to connect right because that feature is missing. And then this is on a double hinge in here. You're just going to accordion it down and have it resting under the bumper like that. And there you've got transform element B in his bug mode. And we're going to go ahead and take a look at his details and some size comparisons. Thank you for being patient with that transformation. I'm hoping that it'll get better with more complicated figures over time, but this one is kind of a mess regardless. Alrighty, so we'll bring him in and look at his details. He's got a nice silver stripe that goes pretty much the full length of the car. He's got the one mirror, which is accurate to the Beetle. There isn't one on this side. It's supposed to be that way. Even the Studio Series is like that. He's got silver around this front window section. The door handles are painted silver, but they're starting to rub off. This figure is not new. This figure I've had since I've even had this a year. I'd have to take a look at the details on the information for when I took photographs of this guy. Very panely sides as to be expected, but it kind of looks like this is where the door would be. Coming on down to the wheels, you got the hubcaps are painted in there. No, it is. You've got the marking. This is from part of the forearm, but the silver paint also lends to this nice bar at the bottom of the vehicle. Front tire also painted. Coming around to the back, you got the bumper, it's painted. You got clear plastic tail lights, which is nice. Silver around the rear window. You got nice vent detail here. You can see his hands. He can wave out the back of the car, but not in the same way as in the film. Come along this side, it's similar details. I believe these silver bits here are actually supposed to be lights, like turn signals, and they painted them silver for some reason. Black painted headlights, silver around the front windshield as well. You've got paint around clear plastic for the headlights. You've got these little vents down here, unless those are also lights. Front grille, bumper area, painted silver. There's the underside. You can see his face. That's movie accurate, kind of where it is. He's got his back and his feet folded up. It's all compacted pretty nicely up in there. No room for the weapons. They can't store. I'm not gonna, pretend to shove them in there or anything like that. I put them away already between sections. But that's the underside. It looks pretty good. He rolls. I want to say the tires are rubber or rubbery plastic. So he rolls real smooth. And we'll go ahead and compare him to some of our comparison items. We've got a standard Rubik's Cube. We've got the Gormagala statue. And for vehicle mode comparison, here he is with another bug. Here is MPM 7 Bumblebee. So you can see this is, I believe, a licensed bug. It has actually got the Volkswagen symbol on the hood and things, so you can kind of see similarities and differences. I think he's a little taller. He might be a little wider, slightly. Obviously this one cleans up better in vehicle mode because the robot mode is so awful, which is why he is my vehicle mode comparison, because he looks good. He's got the stuff in the hubcaps for the Volkswagen that our Transform element does not have. And he's got some faded paint stuff, although this panel kind of breaks up that illusion. So all in all, I mean, the robot's pretty good. It's cute and fat and squishy, and then the car is also cute and fat and squishy. So good job on that for making a lovable Bumblebee from Transform Element. I think they did a good job. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, go ahead and give it a like. If you liked my channel, go ahead and subscribe. If you have suggestions or want to give me some advice, go ahead and comment. I look forward to seeing the criticisms, the constructive criticisms. This guy is going to be sold, so he won't be in any more reviews. And my next review, that figure is also being sold, which is why I fast-tracked this review and my next review, so that way I could review them before I sell them. That's pretty much all I got, so until next time, this has been Taco, talking about Transformers.